There is a YouTube channel which I've come across recently, which I think is really good. A vegan one, Humane Hancock, British guy doing some kind of outreach stuff and debates in public, and he knows pretty much all the arguments and he knows all the rebuttals, so it's good. It's also quite worrying when you see him interview some people and just some of the things that people come out with that he's got in his videos. You're just like, oh, really? You think that? And you're a grown adult? Okay. Anyway, so all his channel, pretty good. I advise check it out. Give him a subscribe. He's only at 1.6 thousand. I'm definitely one of them now, and I've thumbed up a lot of his videos. However, there's one video which he makes a statement which I think vegans generally hear this the wrong way, and as a parent here, I'd like to give my little thoughts on this. So in other words, he did a video about raising your baby vegan is wrong, reaction, and all that stuff, and there's this section here around about 2 minutes 30. I'll put the volume up so you can hear it.
Your choices on your child. I find that a
really strange way of putting it, to be honest, because it's not imposing your views, it's raising your child, which is what every parent does. Like, parents bring their children up with their ethics, with their morals and stuff. Like, I wouldn't, bring my child up and say, well, we're not racist, but, knock yourself out, kid.
I don't think that's the same thing.
No.
Do you not understand the purpose of an analogy? The point is that if we establish it as morally wrong for us to do something, then it is also morally wrong for our children to do something.
But Dr. Hillary, are there nutrition...
Okay, so this is the bit where it gets interesting. Dr. Hillary has come on. I don't know if he's whether pro or anti or anything here, but the statements that he makes are, I would say, sound, but how you hear them depends on whether you listen correctly or not. So what he says here, listen.
Concerns when it comes to raising a child as a vegan. Professor Mary Futrell of University College London says in the worst cases, not feeding your child the right nutrients, if you're bringing them up this way, can lead, to a fatality.
Yeah. So Humane Hancock instantly addresses this. Yeah. The worst cases of feeding your child, here you go, here's Pepsi Max and Doritos. that are in the vegan diet. That would probably be a worst case scenario. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a potential of child malnourishment leading to potential death. So that's an irrelevant statement, either for or against veganism. Saying, in the worst cases of any diet, people can die from it because they're idiots.
The case of any diet leads to fatality. What a completely meaningless statement to make.
It can do in extreme cases, but certainly it can lead to deficiencies. And there are many children who are deficient in iron in this country, deficient in omega-3, deficient in B12.
Yeah, and what are these children eating? The vast majority of these children are eating a meat and animal product-based diet. So what's your point?
So I think this is what I think is missed out on here. The point is, even when parents are giving meat-based diets which should be full of iron, should be full of calcium, should be full of vitamin B12, should be full of vitamin D and A or whatever it is, even when parents are giving that diet, and they're saying hundreds of thousands of children are potentially deficient in these things, to then push a diet where, again, you're dealing with parents who aren't necessarily clued up on diets, probably don't know what a carbohydrate is, probably go protein or proton, what's the difference? Trying to get your meat and potatoes average family person to then get their children to go on a plant-based diet is going to be so difficult. And I say difficult in the fact that you'll have people that will go, right, we're not eating animals, what do we substitute it with? Crisps. Or something more unhealthy than that. So this is a case of This isn't a case of. It's a case of. It isn't the case that it's vegans that are causing this malnourishment, that are vegans that are causing vitamin B12 deficiencies in children. It's the fact that if children are already deficient in that and they're not on a vegan diet, bring them onto a diet where it's more difficult to obtain these, especially if you've got a child who might be a picky eater of some sort. It's got to be doubly hard and more likely to cause deficiencies in some way. If you've got a child which is just eats anything that's put in front of it, broccoli, there you go. Cauliflower, there you go. What's that? Spinach in risotto. Go for it. Sweet potato with spinach in risotto. You've got your carbs, you've got your protein, you've got your omega. No, you've got what's in the sweet potato? Loads of vitamin A, vitamin C, loads of vitamin C in that. Not that we struggle in that one. But was it what is it that spinach has? Spinach has lots of calcium in it and stuff. Yeah, your kid will be like, yeah, I love it. But if you've got a kid that goes, I just want pasta. And also there's a thing which I was reading about a wee while ago that certainly at the very young age stages of life, when you're a baby, you're born, your first thing is just food and pooing. So you just take what's ever given to you at that time. So you get boob in your face, you just munch. You get food put in front of you, but after, usually around the time of crawling and walking, a lot of children become very picky eaters, and they might not eat anything. And there's a thing called like the beige stage, where children will only eat things which are beige. Potentially that is part of a parent's control of what they put in front of the child, but a child will lots of times just go pasta, bread, pancakes, just like, oh, okay, can we have some greens in you? And it becomes very difficult. And there is a slight evolutionary concept behind this, being that when you're a baby, it's all about survival and you just got to eat. But once you get to the point where crawling and walking and moving, just putting anything you find in hand's reach into your mouth can become quite dangerous to you. So that's why, if you imagine back in caveman times, if you're a little baby and you crawl out the cave and you find a bush of berries and you go, ooh, colourful, those could be poisonous in some sort of way. So there's a wave of not necessarily taste buds, but food preferences as we grow up. And again, if you've got a child which doesn't have a lot of fat on its body and suddenly becomes super picky, children can effectively starve themselves. Because I don't want that, I only want peanuts. Or I only want peanut butter or something. So, and a lot of parents, again, you have some parents who are fantastic and their children are exposed to a variety of fun and interesting and healthy food in different ways. And they have a good relationship with food. But again, so many adults have a bad relationship with food that whenever they suddenly have children, they don't know how to impart good advice and positive behaviours towards their children in eating a healthy, balanced diet. So yeah, again, I think what Dr. Hillary is saying here is that, yeah, there's so many kids which are potentially already malnourished, and that's even with parents just giving them their bog standard diet, taking 30% of their bog standard diet, which is meat, chicken nuggets, burgers, fish fingers, taking that out of their diet. Parents will go, have some more Coke? Go on, have some, what's that, like Pepsi Max? Yeah, that's, what do we have? Biscuits! More biscuits! If we can't have chicken nuggets tonight, we're going to have biscuits. So yeah, this is more an aspect of the failure of so many parents in society not necessarily engaging with dietary health implications and all that kind of stuff. So, again, people just don't have the time. People don't have the inclination to do it. And again, a vegan talking to vegans are generally a bit more clued up. Or vegan talking to an athlete or a sports person or a bodybuilder or a nutritionist they're all over it. We know what's healthy. We know where to get the calcium. We know where to get the oxalates and folates and all that kind of stuff. But and your omega-3s from your flax and your chia seeds and your hemp seeds and your walnuts and all that stuff. Yeah, you can get your omegas and all that. But again, if you're a parent that's like, okay, fat, protein, and carbonates? No, carbohydrates. Oh yeah, what are they? Are they like potatoes? You're like, more things than just potatoes. Oh. You've got a lot of people that just have never been taught or engaged in proper dietary health. Anyway, let's listen to that again. So what he says. So this is how I heard it.
Etc. So it's much more difficult to raise a child on a vegan diet.
What? You just stated that there are many deficiencies in our society. Majority of people who have these deficiencies aren't vegans.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Therefore, you're concluding.
So to take more food out of that person's diet, especially children with parents that don't really have a clue, you're potentially causing more deficiencies in children, is what I think it's really saying.
Difficult to raise a child vegan? Where's your logic? Where's the link between those two statements?
I think the logic is the fact that you're dealing... If you think about how stupid the average person is and realise half of the population are more thick than that, and half of that population could be having children, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Should babies be vegan? I think if you're fully engaged and you've got a child that can eat anything and does what it's told and eats all its vegetables and has no problem there, then absolutely yes you can. If you're somebody that doesn't know your omega-3s from your omega-6s or your indigestible fibres from your high glycemic index carbohydrates, then I would say possibly get some form of additional help, support, advice from dietitians, nutritionists. But again, trying to do it on your own, you might be able to do it for a week. But if your kid's not up for eating all the beautiful rainbow of food that you put in front of them, yeah, just could be difficult.